Thanks for joining me on today's episode of the Business Hammer. Today, I have Grant Graybill with me. Grant, thank you so much for taking the time to join me today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Why don't you kind of start off and tell us a little bit about you and what you do?
Sure. We have a family-owned plumbing company that my grandfather started in '65, and my father is now president, and I'm vice president, and I handle all the residential new construction. Our primary focus is um, custom home building, the plumbing market there. So we also do some commercial, and we have a small service team as well.
Interesting. All right. So you're saying custom home building is kind of where your bread and butter. What kind of forced you into that instead of doing? I know a lot of people do service, a lot of people do commercial. What kind of forced you into that lane of plumbing?
Yeah, I mean, we our start was with family builders that are family with us years ago, and
Sure.
so we've just kind of always stayed along that route and done just the new residential. We kind of were geared for it, and so as um, we took a hit back in 2007 whenever
Sure.
the market crashed, but we were able to stay. We've got a lot of good clients, and we've uh, been able to just give them a good product. Quality is one thing that we really focus on. So, um, and that's helped out a lot to keep
Sure.
our clients.
Yeah. So I guess you guys aren't constantly going out and finding new clients or not needing to like the average home service provider is. So that's unique. Um,
Yeah,
so I guess what percentage of your business would be uh, the custom home build versus commercial versus the service?
we're probably, I would say, 60%
Wow.
residential, and then um, 30% commercial and 10% service.
Wow. So you guys are truly, I mean, when it comes to service, it's there, but it's not a priority at all.
Yeah, well, we have the service guys a lot to service our previous clients,
Sure.
and then we also do a lot of other service work too. But that was kind of the idea of having our service department.
Right. So, how many crews do you guys have going any given day?
We have uh, about 15 trucks that are out on the road. So we and some we have a couple of bigger commercial jobs where the guys just go straight to the job site. But for the most part, we're running two-man crews out to the jobs.
Sure. So, COVID, we started, gosh, 2 years ago now. It feels like 100.
Yeah.
But how did COVID affect you guys as far as new home construction? I know as far as like my handyman business, things took off. But was
Yeah.
there like a contraction at the beginning and then it took off, or how'd that play out?
There was, yeah, right at the beginning when people were trying to figure out distancing and you know who can be on the job site when. That kind of threw a wrench and slowed things down for a little bit. And then, like you said, it took off. The remodeling end of things went crazy, and so did you know people just been building homes. So I keep thinking that this is going to slow down, but it has not slowed down at all. So even with
Sure.
uh, product having the issues with getting product, that has really been a challenge too. But we're figuring that out now as well.
Yeah, I would say right now that's a unique problem. Obviously, it's a problem for anybody in the home service based business. I mean, it's just random what you can't find on any given day. But when you're doing new construction and plumbing, I mean, the amount of you know pipe fittings, all, PEX, all that stuff is just astronomically bigger than somebody who's going to come in and do a service job. So
Right.
how has that been? How has that affected the business overall in the last 2 years?
Yeah, the piping, about the only thing we struggled with getting pipe wise was the PEX piping. There's a wall there for a little bit, where the manufacturers were having a hard time. On the fixture side of things, that's a constant thing that I'm working on, because we try to provide all the fixtures for the jobs, and that so that changed. We used to order 3 weeks before we go out on a finish. Now I'm ordering clear back at the start of a job, so that we make sure that we're not getting hit with price increases, and making sure that the material's on the job. So fiberglass has been real hard to get a hold of too. So that's come back a little bit, but anything specials, anywhere from 12 to 15 week lead time at least.
Oh, wow. That's nuts. Yeah. Obviously it just changes the way you have to manage a job, right? Or manage all the jobs, right? Because I can't just get it. You got to think about it in advance.
Correct.
And it's really interesting. The various, it's like these, lulls of being able to get specific type things. So it's one thing today, but then, 2 months from now, it's something else. 2 months from now, It'll be something else. So there's no consistency in as far as what you're not going to be able to get today.
Correct. I'll have customers be like, well, when can you get this? I'm like, well, let's place the order and we can find out.
It's like, hang on, I'll tell you. Yeah, just give me a minute. Let me go actually place this order, and I can tell you when it'll actually come in. Right. Yeah, I'm trying to get a part for my AC right now that I don't know when it's going to actually come in. So that's always fun.
Yeah, it's been interesting, but it's actually, now that we've pivoted and we're nailing these things down at the beginning of the job, it's making for a smoother process going through the whole job, because now customers are like, okay, this is what you got, and if you change this down the road, it might put delays on. So
sure,
it's kind of forced the whole thing of, let's get things nailed down, and then there's fewer changes that we have to deal with going through the process, which always makes things a lot more efficient.
Yeah, absolutely. So you guys have been around since 1965. Has it always been builders first, or has there been some ebbs and flows in what you've done, or how's it played out over the years?
Yeah, it's been ebbs and flows with the commercial, especially back when 2007 happened. We were scrambling to find just anything, so we were doing a lot of commercial work at that time. We still do a fair amount. We do quite a bit of multifamily, so yeah, we'll see that kind of ebb and flow, like you say, over the years. But it's mostly been, up until that point, we were very strongly residential, and then it probably shifted back to where we were more maybe 60% commercial, 40% residential, and now it's shifted back again. So
interesting. So where do you think you see your company 10 years from now? Still trying to do residential, or are you trying to grow it? Is the size good right now? Like what's your game plan?
Our size is pretty good right now. Honestly, we could grow a lot more. I get calls from builders every day, and I just have to turn it down because I gotta stay, with the builders I have now. So
sure.
I don't want to stretch ourselves too thin. We're having, we've got a pretty good group of employees. That, the biggest thing too that's keeping us from growing is getting trucks. We've had 5 trucks on order for a year, and it's
golly.
That's been a struggle too.
Yep. Yeah, I was looking at getting a Ford Transit for Flip Flop Handyman, and you can buy a new one for about 25% less than a used one if you're willing to wait. If you're willing to wait 9 to 12 months, is basically what I was told. I was like, oh, that's all. That's good.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
It's been
makes it
crazy.
tough.
Yeah, it does. We run Mercedes cab and chassis, and
Okay.
that's been, uh, they've been, I don't know where they're at. They're sitting probably in a ship somewhere. So,
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. So you obviously, I assume, grew up in this. I mean, your grandfather, your father
yeah.
have both done this. So what advice would you have to somebody else who's not necessarily in the plumbing business, but just home services? What advice could you give somebody looking to stabilize or grow their company?
I mean, just focusing on quality and servicing your customer, just, consistency over the years is huge. We've we do a lot to provide value as far as our scheduling. As we have a full-time scheduler, and we try to, we'll be there when we say we're going to be there. Obviously there's things that come up, but for the most part, just being good with that, consistent with that. We have we have a showroom that our customers come to, so just we provide that. Just anywhere you can provide an extra thing that kind of stands out above what the other person does is one thing. I've always thought, make yourself so valuable that it's not worth them to go somewhere else. So
Yep.
we've always tried to find ways to do that.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, that's one thing I've said for a really long time is part of it's just showing up, right? You say that you're going to be there at a time, be there. I mean, it's just, that's really the easiest win, but it's where people fail a lot, like a whole lot. We're still fairly new into the handyman business, but we get probably 50% of the calls we get, somebody else, they've already talked to somebody else and even had somebody else out to their house, and then they just could never get a hold of them again.
Right.
It's just kind of amazing to me.
Yeah. I mean, even if I know I can't do the job, I still try to call the customer back, or the people that are calling, to let them know that I can't do that. But, just making sure that you're keeping conversation with those people. You never know, down the road, you might not be so busy. You might want to use them down. So
yeah,
having a pipeline's key.
Yeah, you guys have a builder that goes out of business for whatever reason, and you need a new one. And if you've ghosted somebody, then the chances of them wanting to work with you in the future just obviously aren't huge. And people just don't think about the future. Like, it's what's going on today. I'm really busy today. I don't need your business. Thanks. Go away.
Yeah.
But that's just, if you're blessed for that to be like that forever, then great. But then you have a 2007, 2008 come along and whoops.
Yeah.
Now what?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Or even a pandemic. I mean, it's stuff that's completely out of your control, but it still affects your business. So you always have to be doing the best you can. Right.
Exactly.
So, all right, sir, I appreciate your time this morning. I appreciate the advice, and I wish you guys nothing but the best. And, to the future generations, you guys keep on going.
Yeah. My daughter's in here too now. So
that's awesome. So we got fourth generation. There you go.
Yep.
I love it. Awesome, sir. I appreciate your time.
All right. Thank you.